feel like the sun hitting me like this is going to be a problem. I think that'll be better. So earlier I made a video and it was completely on a whim, like spur of the moment, not planned. It's obviously stuff that I've been thinking of for a really long time. Like it's been on my mind. But I wasn't planning to make that video. And I was in the middle of a tarot reading. And basically, I also haven't done a tarot reading for myself in a very long time. And it got to the point where like the reading was basically telling me that I need to like speak my truth. And then also to just like focus on balance, which is something I've really been struggling with because I have so many things and plans and things that I want to do, and balance has really been a struggle for me. So I just kind of on a whim made that video. I don't really post to my story. I don't know. I need to be better. That is something I need to work on in this next cycle of my life is social media, as unfortunate as it is. Holy shit. Holy shit. I just watched a hawk snatch a squirrel off a tree. Wow. I'm going to play that back and I might actually be able to hear. Holy shit. You can hear the hawk right now. Wow. Okay. Anyway, that was wild. I just completely lost my train of thought. I can still see the hawk right now. I think it missed it or it dropped it because I could hear the squirrel too. Anyway, wow. Cycle of life right there. And that was honestly kind of like the point of what I wanted to talk about is it just keeps calling. But I wanted to talk about how like don't force things longer than they need to be. Hawk, bro, I'm trying to record a video. Jesus. I can't stand repetition. Anyway, I made a video this morning. I posted it to my story. And the outpouring of love and understanding and encouragement that I got in response to that, because I've then posted it to my Facebook page and my Instagram, I just want to say thank you. Like you guys are really, really awesome and encouraging. And a lot of you reminded me of the beauty that secondhand Cisco is. And I forget that because it's like, it is my day to day. It's my everyday life. And, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows and it's not all fun and games. And it's very, very, very hard, you know, like having a little hobby that kind of accidentally became your job is kind of like you get like whiplash. And, you know, I just kind of like did a bunch of things and nothing really had like any sort of game plan or direction. I just kind of like did things as I felt like it, which is exactly what I'm doing right now with this fucking video and the one that I recorded earlier. And the fact that I did a tarot reading for the first time in like 6 months. Now it's probably like 3, but I do everything on a whim, and that is not conducive to being a business owner. You know, I'm a multi-passionate person. I have a lot of passions and I have a lot of things that I like to do. And in my head, because I feel like I'm so pressed for money all the time because I'm not consistent with my business, which really it's just a side hustle, but I don't even have a main hustle. So I just have a lot of little side hustles, and that can be a good thing when you like build something on a solid foundation. But if you're just like continuing to build on the sand every night as the tide washes in, and then you have to start all over again the next day, like that was actually a really good metaphor because that's what it feels like every fucking day, is that I am starting over, starting from scratch every single day and having to like come up with a new game plan every single day. Like I need a standard operating procedure. I need especially with the way that my brain works, I'm completely motivated by dopamine because I have a lack of it, because I'm neurodivergent, definitely ADHD, possibly autistic. And doing things that I don't want to do is like cringe. Like I cannot deal with that. I cannot. And I can force myself to do things, but then I'm just forcing myself into burnout, which is exactly what has happened. And it's been years now that I have like forced myself into burnout. So I just don't feel, it's like every single day I wake up and I'm like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, because you got to pay your bills, you got to pay your bills. And so I spend the whole day avoiding that thing because I don't want to do it, while also avoiding the things that I want to do because I feel guilty that I shouldn't be doing things I want to do because I should be doing the things that I need to do, should then I play games on my phone or scroll through social media and do nothing that I want to do and nothing that I need to do. And then it just like all the consequences build up. And I'm just constantly sitting there like being so mean to myself and putting myself down. And it's just really exhausting. And so I spend my days, you know, just, it's like I'm a teenager inside of my body, but also the parent, like the authoritative parent. And it's like, I'll tell myself what I need to do. And then I'm like, not doing that. You can't tell me what to do. Excuse me? Like, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for us. You know, like it's wild. And I can watch it happen and it's just ridiculous. But I digress. I'm working on it. We're working on it. Both of us. This isn't even the tangent I was wanting to go on, but basically I've been trying to force something that was not in line with what I wanted to do anymore. And I take that back. It was in line. It was 100% in line, but it was past its time. I should have dropped that line a very long time ago. And, you know, they say don't play the should have game. Who's they? But also, like, I can't keep saying that. I can't keep being hard on myself for things that I should have done because there's literally nothing I can do about it going forward. You know, I have to do the things that I can do going forward. I can't change what I've done in the past. You know, it's time for me to stop. You better not be coming here for my fucking chickens. All the chickens are in their coop right now. I'm going to go hold the phone. Literally, hold on. I wonder if you can still hear me this far away. Hi, little babies. I don't want you guys to be eaten by a hawk. He's hungry. The squirrel made him mad. So y'all stay in here, okay? Thanks. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay. Okay, so the whole point of this video that originally started off as a vertical video so you could get my whole torso. The whole point was to show you this shirt that I sewed the other day. And it's made out of vintage fabrics. And there's a little dyed one right here. So this right here was like a pair of pants that I sold on Poshmark. And it turns out that the zipper was actually busted. And so the girl returned it, but it was like such a good pair of pants. I'll actually like link a picture of it if I figure out how to do that. But it was a great pair of pants and I didn't want to get rid of them. So I cut them up. Some of the pieces are in my quilt that I made that some people may have. Hello, Pippa. My point is I want to move on to other things and I still will dye things and I still will cut up things that didn't really dye well and turn them into other things. So the secondhand Cisco brand, I've been back and forth trying to figure out if I should keep the name or drop it because it didn't even really line up with our dyed stuff anymore. Like I had decided to reroute and rebrand without it and make everything cohesive. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not done with secondhand Cisco, but I am rerouting. And so this kind of stuff is the stuff that I will be doing. This is the first shirt I've ever sewn, I think, in recent years. I'll be doing skirts and dresses and just lots of upcycled stuff. And I'll be cutting up old clothes and old sheets. Like there's a pillowcase on here somewhere, some pants. These pants obviously with the dyed fabric, but like these pieces were in my quilt that I did recently that I still haven't finished. I have a quilt top and the pieces are all together, but they're not all sewn together. Anyway, I need a stronger machine. I'm rambling at this point, but really I wanted to explain that I'm not done, but I want to like follow the direction that I'm feeling called to and have been feeling called to for literally years. And it's like, I don't know why I haven't been listening, but yeah, it's like, it's really a struggle when I'm not doing the things that I need to do. And that takes a toll on me. It takes a toll on my relationship. It takes a toll on my kid, the relationship I have with my kids, because the guilt that I put on myself for what I'm not doing. And then like even my son recently was like, you work all the time. And I was like, I don't though. I didn't say this to him because he wouldn't understand. He's 11, but I told him, you know, like I'm not like I'm going to work on not working so much. And I've been letting them sleep in the summer, so that I can like get more stuff done in the morning, but I'm also not getting that stuff done in the morning. So then when they wake up, I'm like, okay, let's hang out and spend time together. But I haven't done the stuff that I needed to do because I was lollygagging and putting it off and all these other things that, you know, like the dishes were in the sink. So, oh, let me do that. But it's like the dishes can wait. And also that's the kids' chores. So it's like, I digress. This is what I want to do. It's one of the like 7 routes that I want to take and directions I want to head in. Another one is actually recording YouTube videos. And that is something that I have been wanting to do for years. Like going on 5 or 6 years now that I have wanted to like just talk to a camera, I guess. And I will say that reselling on Whatnot really helped me with that. Whatnot, for those that don't know, is like a selling platform. It's like if Instagram Lives and eBay had a baby. So people can like bid on items as you're showing it live. And I did that for a little bit, and that was also exhausting in itself. Like that was another thing that really kind of made me burnt out on reselling, because it was like, even though I was trying to get rid of stuff for like $1 or $2 or $3, it was not worth the time and energy. And a lot of times the stuff just like it either wouldn't move or it would only sell for a couple dollars. Anyway, I've been wanting to have a YouTube channel for a really long time. I just have ideas that come to me all the time that I'm like, this needs to be talked about. And a lot of times it's like, there's things that are just common knowledge to me or common sense to me, because it's like I consume certain types of content and follow certain accounts and read certain books. And I just assume like, oh, everybody knows this. And it's like, no, just because I like submerge myself in that type of content so much does not mean that anybody else has any idea what I'm talking about when I say it. You know, like I just assume that everybody knows. Part of me just, I feel like I need to help people. I want to help people. And, you know, the universe was yelling at me for a few years that like, you're a healer, you're a healer, you're a healer. And I'm like, do I need to learn how to do Reiki? Do I need to like become a yoga teacher? Do I need to buy some sound bowls? Like, what do I need to do to like heal people? But then I realized that I could just heal people by just like being myself and just talking about things and making people realize that they're not alone. So it's time for me to reroute, and it's time for me to stop putting things off because of the things that I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, there are things that I need to be doing, but I need to find the balance. And that is what my message in my tarot reading this morning was speak your truth and find a balance. I can do everything. I can't do everything all at once, but I can figure out how to balance at least a handful of those things. And there are definitely other things that I want to pursue going forward that are new brain baby ideas. Even as I'm recording this video, I'm getting messages from people. Like I didn't turn off my notifications, and I'm still getting encouraging messages from people. And I freaking appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. And, you know, a lot of my problem with the reselling stuff was I would spend hours and hours and hours like taking pictures of things and measuring things and then like putting it online, and then it would just be nothing. I would get no response. And that just felt, and I know that a lot of you understand that. Like I'm friends with so many creators, both music and art and graphic design and clothing and whatever, flow people and just a lot of creatives. And I understand that we're not special in the fact that we get shadow banned. You know, if you're not paying for ads, if you're not paying for, especially like as a page, you do not get prioritized on, you know, you don't really come up on anything. And so I was reminded by a lot of people that they just weren't seeing my stuff. And that, you know, made me feel better, because that has really been a struggle for me, is just social media and keeping up with my accounts and like keeping people updated and keeping my Etsy store running. But it felt like a waste of time, and it was so discouraging over and over and over again. Same thing with like going to festivals and stuff. It's like you load up, you prep, you price, you tag, you transport, you put in the miles, and sometimes you're like camping while you're there, and then you're there, and then it's a scorching hot day and nobody comes, and you've done all this work for a couple $100 and like barely breaking even on like the booth. And when it happens over and over and over, like we had a really rough fall season, We did like 7 festivals, 7 weekends in a row over the holiday season. And number one, I think that our stuff was just not stuff that people were thinking about buying during that time of year. You know, it's like our stuff is more summery and colorful and festival season, and which that's what I'm working on all day today. And this is pushing me back a little bit, but I feel really called to be making this video and like just explaining it. And if you watch this, I really appreciate you. I love you so much. But really, it's just me kind of, it's like talk therapy. Recording this video is cheaper than going to my therapist, which I realized I fired my therapist, which don't come at me. I stopped going to my therapist because it just was me talking. And then I was like, I can do that at my camera. That's what I'm going to do. And he just like didn't even really have anything and be like, oh, our hour's up. He didn't even get a word in edgewise. That's on me. I talk too much. I get that. Most of the time, that's all you need is to just talk out your bullshit. This is my visual journal that I put out to the world. And that's what I'm going to do. And sorry, Mom. My mother hates it that I put out like my life on a platter. I've always been that. Like I've always put my life on a platter. Ooh, look at that sunshine. I've always been like the person that's like, here's my baggage and my bullshit. Like, but at the same time, that helps other people. Like the amount of times that people have reached out to me and said, thank you for saying that. Thank you for admitting that that's a struggle for you, because I thought I was alone. People have said, thank you for, you know, being real and raw, you know, making me realize so much is happening. My cat is hacking up a hairball. Like, Jesus, this has been a very eventful video. And I'm just sitting here in the middle of my yard. Fuck, I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, I feel like it's always just been my personal platform. Yeah, I've always been an open book. And the amount of people that have said that that is something that they are grateful for makes me feel like, and again, like I said, like strangers, like I'm friends with so many people from all over the country and even world. And because of like the music community that I used to be in, but like, or that I still am in, but not really. Like it was like my life at one point until I was like, oh, I like living my actual life a lot more now than I did back when I was trying to escape it and going to. Anyway, I made a lot of friends over those years, and like a lot of friends, like an absurd amount of friends. And I was always desperate for friends. And then I got a bunch of friends, and then it became overwhelming. But all that to say, there's a lot of people that I've never met in person, and they're like, I'm so glad we're friends on Facebook because you're so encouraging. And I am just grateful that you are real and honest and open and say it how it is, because I don't have enough of that in my life. And so I hope to be that for people with a YouTube channel. I have other plans that I want to do and move forward on, but I want to keep that stuff to myself, because the way that my brain works is like when I tell people the things that I want to do, like the excitement of just even hyping up my plans is like enough of a ego boost in itself. So then I like don't really follow through on the actual like things that I'm doing. So I'm really working on that, on follow through and consistency. But as it happens, I will share things more and more. So, but the whole point of this video was to give you guys the rundown of like what I want to do going forward. And like a lot of people ask that question, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you caring. Again, thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the reminders. Thank you, you know, for telling me and showing me all the pieces that you have loved over the years. I'm going to cry. You know, I keep forcing myself to do this thing that I don't want to do. And it's not even that I don't want to do it. It just got to a point where it did not feel rewarding anymore. Like it was just grunt work with no satisfaction. And so seeing that there are people that still really love their pieces, and that, you know, they've held up really well, and they make them feel like themselves, and that they're their favorite thing to reach for in their closet, like that really does mean a lot to me. And you forget that. Why am I crying? You forget that when you're, you know, on the ground and you're having a really hard time paying your bills. And, you know, that's not what it's all about. But when you cause it to be all about that, it gets really draining and discouraging and lonely. And it feels like you're like, why am I doing this? For what? You know, what's the point? So thank you for that, you guys. I really appreciate you. I don't know if you are going to actually watch this video, but it really means a lot to me. And I really hope that this new chapter, you know, like that people will still feel drawn to my stuff. Like, I hope that you guys like this stuff. I'm obsessed with patchwork stuff. I'm obsessed with patterns. I'm obsessed with obnoxious prints and earth tones, and I'll do a little bit of everything. Like, anyway, I'll give a rundown, but like I'll give a better peek at it maybe online or something. But at this point, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Let me look at my notes again. Basically, yeah, so I think I mentioned my quilting, and so I'll be doing quilting and sewing and filling my Etsy store back up. Like, I didn't have a lot of stuff online because it was getting really, like, at one point I had all of our stuff online, and then I also would take, not all of it, but I'd have a bunch of stuff online, and we would have it at festivals and stuff. And so the 45 minutes that it would take me to get that one item listed, because all of our stuff is one of a kind, that 45 minutes would be for no reason, because that item would sell at the festival, you know, that weekend. And so it's like, okay, so it got to where I was like, I'm not putting anything online because everything's in person. But now nothing's in person anymore. We just had a booth that was a complete flop. Like, we put our stuff at an antique booth, and like moving into that booth, I worked myself so hard that I like made myself sick. That was the first time in my life I've ever done that, to where I literally did not get enough sleep, like DJ was out of town. I moved in. Good Lord, I'm getting blown up. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. I should have turned off my notifications. It was really, you know, that was kind of the final straw. It was like, okay, but also it was not at the right market. It was in like a small town, Georgia, where everybody wants to be just like everybody else. And our stuff makes people stand out, and people don't like to stand out in small towns. That's just the way that it is. And it just wasn't the right vibe. You know, had I been closer to the city, to Atlanta, our stuff would have probably done better somewhere else, somewhere more artsy, somewhere more, I don't know. But it's like they wanted to pay tie-dye prices, like, which I don't even consider our stuff tie-dye. But to the untrained eye, it's all the same. But they, you know, wanted to pay Walmart tie-dye prices at a handcrafted booth, you know. And so basically I was just breaking even on my rent each month. I think I ended up just paying to be there. After the 3 months was up, I think I ended up basically I was just paying for a storage unit. I am going to be getting everything online, everything that we have. And maybe at that point I will have the desire to dye some more stuff, because we do have a lot of things that still need to be dyed. And I will link my Etsy below, because a lot of times people, actually my Etsy shop was called something else. I called it Imbued Hues, because the secondhand Cisco brand didn't feel right, because there was a lot of stuff that I was listing that was like brand new stuff. And so that didn't really go with the secondhand Cisco vibe. I don't really care about that anymore. I'm just going to stick with the secondhand Cisco, because it's me. And the evolution of my brand, you know, that's natural evolution, the cycle of life. And it's okay to change and grow and evolve. Like, it's necessary. It's you have to. It is mandatory. And so that's where I'm at. Gonna stop this video now and go take photos of stuff to start listing it on Etsy. And then maybe I'm gonna sew later. That was a lot of words, and I hope that everything that I said was actually like cohesive. Let's see, what else did I miss on my little, I literally gave myself notes, because every time I get in front of a camera, I'm like, I had so much to say, and then I got in front of the camera and I just blinked. Basically, yeah, I appreciate you guys. I love you. And I don't know when I'm actually going to be able to post this video, but yeah, this is my new shirt. I hope you like it. I love you. Be nice to yourself.